Hi, I'm Magnus Walker, and I've been obsessed with Porsches for the past 45 years. I've built, collected, driven, raced and restored quite a lot of P cars in my time. But this show is all about other people's Porsches. So take a ride along with me as I find out all there is to know about OPP. Plastic Porsches, well, it's fiberglass to be exact, which doesn't rust, but it does crack. The mid-engine 904 debuted in 1964 as a successor to the 718 RSK. It was built as a road and race car, and early 64 models had the 4-banger 4-cam engine from the RSK. In 1965, approximately 40 cars were fitted with the 911 2-liter flat 6. And today these cars sell in the $2 to $4 million range. This is not one of those cars though. So Dave, it looks like we picked the coldest spot in San Pedro by the water with a breeze, but it looks pretty cool, right?
Yeah, I love San Pedro, my hometown. It's great being down by the water.
Local boy.
Yeah, local boy.
Hanging with a fisherman.
That's right.
So I got a bunch of buddies who refer to these as plastic Porsches. And it's kind of an in-house joke, but in reality they're fiberglass, but they are called plastic Porsches. My buddies seem to wheel in, deal in these original $2-3 million versions. What would you call this?
Well, I call it a replica. It's probably not a very accurate term because there are some differences between this and an absolute original. But I think it's a descriptive term. I think it makes sense. It conveys the concept of the car. It's meant to be like an original 904.
Right, so the original 904 4-cylinder came out in '64, I believe, right? This is a different thing. Let's go over the details. It's made by Chuck Beck. He's down there in Atlanta, Georgia somewhere, right?
Well, now it's GTS Classics and it's in Indiana.
Okay.
Indianapolis, Indiana.
All right, so Beck Spider, Beck 904, he's famous for the Spider. Tell me about the 904, what he's tweaked, how it differs from the original plastic Porsche from '64.
Well, my understanding is that when Chuck Beck did it, he enlarged the car ever so slightly, but he added, I think it's 2 or 3 inches to the car, to the length, and I think 2 inches in the width.
Okay.
But he sort of spaced it out very carefully so that he wouldn't change the proportions. He didn't just like add 2 inches here and stretch it out. He sort of moved everything just a little tiny bit so that it looks like the original looks.
Got it.
But it's got the tiniest bit more room inside.
Just a little more user-friendly.
All evidence to the contrary.
Yeah, so talk about the body though. It's fiberglass. Is it sections? Is it one piece in a mold for the most part?
One piece in a mold. The original apparently was done in sections and the sections put together. But Beck designed this so that it's one piece. And then the fiberglass body, the roll cage and everything is inserted into the body and it's actually fiberglass. And then the body is actually fiberglass and bonded onto the monocoque chassis.
Okay.
You can't like lift the body off the frame. It's not that kind of a car.
Sounds like you might have improved on the original 904.
Yeah, I think that's the deal, is that they made the chassis a little stronger than the original because they anticipated people putting bigger engines, more power.
Tell me about the seating position.
I'm kind of picky about seating positions, and you're way taller than I am, but I still have difficulty getting in and out. But the seat, I was hitting the roof and I was hitting the roll bar. So I started by stripping the upholstery off the seat and shaving the foam down till I got it down as low onto the fiberglass as I could get it. And then I took the sliders out. The seat is bolted right to the floor.
Well,
so
I'm going to check it out. I'm gonna
where it is.
I'm going to see how it is.
You get in it actually more gracefully than I do.
So my head is on the roof. This part of my head is on the roll bar, but once you're in, it's pretty snug. Once you got the wheel on it, it's all right where it needs to be. So yeah, I think it's a comfortable place to be. Whether it's a comfortable place for 1,000 miles, time will tell. Now let me demonstrate getting out of it. I know you have your method. I'm more of a ballerina. It's actually not as bad as getting out of a GT40, I gotta say. So he talked about race car. I know originally these were 4-cylinders. Let's talk about the heart and soul that's back here.
I have a 95 993 non-burial ram engine that's been modified.
So 3.6.
3.6.
Wow. That almost overkill in a car that weighs, how much does this weigh?
1,700 pounds.
And you got a 3.6 in it, which has got to have at least, what, 320 horsepower?
Yeah, dyno more than that, because we've done a bunch of work.
Wow, dyno. So it's tweaked. So why go that big an engine?
I don't know. You'd have to ask Chuck Beck that one. If you buy a turnkey car, he sells it with a 3.6. And I think it's because of the history of him and his family, Randy, racing them. They probably like the big motor in the racing. My plan was to build like a 2.9 or a 3-liter, or maybe a 3.2. Keep it small, high revving. I wouldn't have put a 3.6 in it. But when I bought this car, a 3.6 came with it in a million pieces. And I thought, well, I've got a 3.6. Why not just go ahead and tweak the 3.6 for fun? Because I'm a hot rodder at heart. If I hate it, I can sell the 3.6 and I can build a 2.9 or a 3-liter or something else.
Torque is good. For me, having driven it, I have to say the Achilles heel is the transmission, the 950.
Yeah.
Because it's delicate, it's vague. You're never quite sure if you're in the gear or not. And I think a lot of it, explain it to me, but it's all the linkage coming from the shift rod all the way back to the tail.
Yeah.
So long, you know, from the shift knob to the back is probably 6-7 feet.
Well, remember in a 911, the engine is flipped around the other direction.
Right.
And so the 915 transmission, it's a tail shift, which means the linkage goes into the back of the transmission. On the 911, it's right up here by the shifter, no problem. Here, it's flipped the other way, so the tail of the transmission is back here. So it does
put
create...
on the shift knob, by the time you've traveled back at least 6-7 feet to the back end of the transmission, right there, slightest little adjustment is pretty big when you come back.
Yeah, it's huge, yeah.
So tell me about the exhaust setup you got.
Pretty standard. It's got headers. There's no heat, obviously. No heat exchanger. It's headers into like a thrush flow muster, which I've got at the inside of. And then it comes out these megaphones.
So, yeah, it is pretty loud.
So it's pretty raw. It's pretty direct.
Yeah. Let's talk about that setup of wheel, tire, suspension, and brakes.
They're 16-inch wheels. They're alloy wheels made to look like the steel wheels.
And the width is what? They seem pretty deep.
I believe they're 10s and 8s. Yeah.
And then what are the brakes on the car?
The calipers are Willwood, the discs are Porsche.
It stops exceptionally well.
Yeah, coilovers all around and A-arms in the front. It's a little improved over the original 904. Chuck Beck, when he did it, he was real familiar with Lola race cars. And I think he kind of made some adjustments to the particularly the front suspension in this, based on how Lola race cars were done.
It's surprisingly how well it handles on these sort of uneven road surfaces. It's not dirty, it's not jerky, you're not worried about, you know, hopping over stuff. It's really set up pretty well. Why 32?
Well, my wife and I, both of our birthdays are on the 23rd, and so we, you know, it's kind of our quote lucky number. And then I saw a lot of historic photos of the old factory 904 race cars, and all the photos I saw, the numbers were in the 30s. And I would see 30 and 31, I saw 33 and 34. And I thought, well, between I could plug in my 32 and flip the 23, and
that was it.
Yeah,
it looks great.
And it's a good looking number.
Yeah, for sure.
I've been in art all my life, and so it's a visual, it's a graphically visual thing.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I think it's time we go for another drive.
Sure, let's do it.
Snap the vintage Jackie Stewart steering wheel into position, twist the key, flip the throttle, and the 3.6 roars to life. Grab another gear and pedal to the metal. Let's push the car up the hill. It's an engaging, rewarding, challenging, and stimulating drive up the hill. Turn-in's direct. There's a lot of feedback through that wheel and a lot of mechanical grip, giving you confidence to pursue on. We put a few miles on the car. I'm feeling a lot more at ease with the car. Got a lot of power, got a lot of torque.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an analog experience in the digital world that,
Yeah.
you know, new cars do things differently.
Yeah.
This really is the streetable track.
And a foot full of torque is a lot of fun.
I'm pumped, you know, it's one of those things where I just wanted to keep ripping it a few more times.
It was fun going up with you. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, thanks a lot
No.
for that. I think it's covered all the bases. So cheers, man.
Good.
Vibes.